Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Match Play Podcast this week. This week we're discussing golf balls, the differences, what one to choose, and why they're in your bag. Stay tuned.
All right, so we should probably start off with what makes a golf ball. So first there's a core, followed by a mantle, which could be only one mantle or maybe three mantles, and then there's the cover. So that's the difference of making our golf ball a 2-piece golf ball, a 3-piece golf ball, a 4-piece golf ball, or a 5-piece golf ball. So let's talk about how that can change how the golf ball will react.
Sure.
For you.
We'll start at the low end in terms of those mantles. Your, core and cover golf ball, your typical limited flight range ball. Everybody knows they're hard as a rock. They don't spin a whole lot. It's made just for durability, essentially. Be able to take thousands and thousands of swings. Would not recommend any type of golfer play a range ball on course. It's only going to make the game more difficult, which frankly we're just trying to make it easier. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
If you're struggling for cash to play and things like that, there's a lot of really good, 3-layer golf balls, that are much more playable than a range ball. You'll see, the pinnacle boxes of 15. You won't see it on tour, but it will definitely get you on that golf course playing and having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to find a ball that is right for you at where you are in the game, and obviously the right price point for you that makes it worth it to you.
Absolutely.
But that's also just gonna play into you enjoying the game more, because you'll have more control. You'll be able to have sauce around the greens or spin, and you'll have a better time finding fairways, hitting the ball a little bit further, and it might chip away a little at the bank account, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah, 100%. And the reason why we're recording this is, a lot of people think, clubs will help their game, lessons, things like that. But this is the one piece of equipment that you use on every single shot, regardless of what you do. So making that choice, I would say, is even more important than what driver you're playing or what putter you're playing. Having confidence in your golf ball to do what you want it to do is paramount for playing consistent golf.
Yeah, and because it is the one thing, like Bill said, that you play on every single shot, you should get fit for a golf ball before you should get fit for clubs.
Yeah, criminally underdone, really.
Yeah, truly. Criminally underdone.
So we'll move on now to like a 4-piece golf ball, which is like your typical, pro style ball, your Pro V1, Pro V1X. Bingo. We're big components of playing Pro V1 and Pro V1X, as well as 90% of the tour. There's a reason why for that, because it's consistent. There's enough spin under it for your full swing without getting too little, to be able to spin and grab around the greens. It's a very consistent golf ball. It's why many golfers play it, and why you see so much Titleist on tour, because if that's the one piece of equipment, it needs to be the most reliable out of anything in your bag. So finding that right golf ball for feel, compression, spin rate around the green, spin rate off the tee, to find your golf ball, it needs to have a mix of everything to complement your game.
All right, next we're talking about 5-piece golf balls. So this is going to be the TP5 and the TP5X. These golf balls from TaylorMade are fantastic. The thing that they run into is that sometimes there's a problem with consistency with this golf ball, and it comes down to the manufacturing standpoint. But overall, when you get a well-made TP5, TP5X, it is hard to beat. They have 5 layers, which means they have 5 chances to tackle different parts of the game, allowing you for maximal distance, maximal control, maximal spin, which is why players at the tour level play it, because it does give them a lot of options. But they do have the benefit of making sure their golf balls are checked day in and day out so that they are perfect, which is what at the consumer level can be a little bit of a downfall for the TP5 and TP5X. That's why Bill and I play the Pro V1 and Pro V1X, because it is an X-rated golf ball for consumer and professional, which means it is the same ball that the Tour Pro is playing. And that is why we play it. But again, the TP5, TP5X are great golf balls. You just have to make sure you're doing your due diligence to make sure that that golf ball is perfect when it is going into play.
And on top of that, not just the TP5, TP5X kind of scenario, you want to make sure the golf ball that's going in your bag complements your individual game. Whether it's a Pro V1, a TP5, Callaway Chrome Soft, Scrixon golf ball,
Dunlop.
whatever. The Dunlop.
Yeah.
Whatever golf ball is going into your bag, it is amplifying what you do on the golf course. It is making you longer. It is making you tighter around the short game areas and the tough approaches. Everything that the golf ball should be doing needs to be working for you. Otherwise, the one piece of equipment you play every single shot of every single round is costing you strokes.
Well said, Bill. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, guys, we're going to talk about what makes the feel and playability of your golf ball. We'll start with something like the Titleist Velocity, which is a lower compression golf ball designed for lower swing speeds. And the reason why that we have different compression rates from, your amateur ball compared to, Pro V1X or a tour ball is we're not all swinging at 120 miles an hour. And we want to make sure we can get into the core of the golf ball to make sure it's working for us. That's why they have, softer feels, softer compressions. There is some downside to going to the softer compression balls. They tend not to be as good around the greens, but if you're somebody that's just wanting a few more yards off the tee, a lower compression ball could help you get into the core more and develop some ball speed. It's something as simple as that, whereas, when you're working with a tour pro guy or a high speed guy, a good player, they're gonna gear more towards that tour style ball, that harder compression. It's going to be a little clickier feel, and as well as it is going to be able to grab into the grooves on their wedges and their irons to be able to give them the most control around the greens.
Yep. Absolutely. It's all about, like we've said throughout this video, making the golf ball work for your game. That means your swing speed, that means your ability to control a wedge around the greens, and your ability to manipulate that face to make the ball do what you need it to do or what you want it to do.
Mm-hmm. And just on top of that, you're not going to see an amazing difference between like a Velocity and Pro V1X around the greens. It will be noticeable in terms of how quickly it stops. But if you're just getting started, play around with some stuff, understand what you like and what works for you.
Yeah, as we've stated in our video that we talked about how to choose the right golf ball for you, which you can check out here, there are an immense amount of golf balls out there that perform slightly differently. And we mean slightly because it is a small feel difference, especially as you're joining the game. Your hands aren't as trained to feel those differences yet. As you play more, you'll develop that ability. But it's more about finding the golf ball that does what you're trying to get it to do. And as you're entering, balls change year to year. They are constantly trying to make the ball better and better. So that means that you might want to take last year's Pro V1 versus this year's Pro V1 or the new one and take it to the chipping green, take it on the course, play a few balls and see which one's going to be right for you this season. Ideally, you'd have a whole stock up of the ball that you love and you'd play it that you don't have anymore. But what we're trying to say is experiment with golf balls from time to time to find the ball that might be the best ball for you.
And it's, when you're testing out golf balls, you don't need to go buy, boxes of this stuff. If you see, okay, we got the new, TaylorMade or Callaway ball, a Callaway ball that just came out, buzzing right now. If they got a sleeve of it in your pro shop before your round, pick one up, try it out. It might be just the ticket to change your game entirely. And that's going to do it for us this week, guys. Thanks for tuning into the Match Play Podcast. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and share right below here. And until next week, make some birdies out there. See ya.
See you guys.